It's me again. I'm back with another video. I'm so proud of myself. I'm being very consistent with this. I'm very happy about that. Praise the Lord. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to young wives to be and young husbands to be. So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to be sharing some of my past and mistakes I made, things that I wish I had been educated on before I started courting, and how God helped me to make it through in some of those areas. So I'm going to just go ahead and get right in so we don't make the video way too long. So I want to tell you that I started courting at 15. That means, if you're not familiar with the word courting, when I grew up, we didn't talk about dating and stuff like that. It was courting. Like, the guy had to come to your house. Most of the young ladies that I grew up with, we all could start dating at 16. But I met the guy that I was dating. Actually, I met him, I was 15. I was almost 16, like in a few months, and he was 17. So that's kind of how it works. So during that time, what happened is he would have to come to my mom's house, come to my parents' house or grandparents, but in this case he came to my mom's house where I was staying, and the young man would ask if would it be okay if he could come and spend time with you, like if he could come over and talk to you and stuff like that. And the parents would agree yes or no if he could come. If they didn't think he was a good guy, they would say no. And the other parents did the same thing. Like some of my friends, they would have to meet the guy before you would start talking to him. Like, you didn't just go behind your parents' back and talk to people in school and stuff like that. Now, some of my friends did, and some people did, and maybe their parents didn't have such more guidelines like that, but some of the parents did have guidelines where you had to come to the home. So, I met the guy through a friend of mine in the neighborhood who her mom was a little more lenient, and she let her date early. And but my mom wasn't. My mom said 16 and that's it. So my friend didn't like it. So she decided she's going to find me a guy, so we were hanging outside one day, and so this guy came through. He's a cute guy, came through, a little older than me and everything, and actually it was his birthday. And so my friend, she was really gifted with talking to guys because she had the experience of talking with guys. But I didn't. I'm the oldest of 9 girls, and I have 3 brothers. And so, we didn't have that kind of experience as far as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom wouldn't allow us to hang out with certain things. Not that she thought we were better. She just didn't want bad influences on us. And that's any parent. Any good parent wants the best influence on their children. So anyway, getting back to the story, the guy came through, and she was talking, I was talking a little bit, and he was saying what he got for his birthday and everything. And so when she asked him what he got for his birthday, and he said that he got me for his birthday. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, that's a corny line there, fella. But hey, it worked. We ended up dating and later even getting married and all that stuff. So I don't want to skip ahead of the story. But anyway, talking about courtship, this is something that's very, it's serious, because a lot of times young people think that things get outdated, and that that was back during that time, and that was back during that time. But your value for yourself doesn't stop in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. Value for your being and for yourself as a person as a human being on this earth does not stop with a certain period of time. And a lot of young people, they get their minds confused in this culture, believing that, okay, what I see on TV is for real, or what I see on TV, this is how I should behave. I'm going to tell you the truth. You should not behave like what you see on television. As a matter of fact, a lot of those shows you shouldn't even be watching. I don't even watch them, and it's not because I think that I'm better than the women on the shows. I think that they're beautiful women. They're educated women a lot of times. They certainly have talent and giftings, but I think when it comes to their moral values and their self-esteem and their inward knowing of who they are in the core of their being as a woman from God, put on this earth to use those gifts and values to help other people, I think they're missing in those areas. So I'm not bad-mouthing those women or saying anything negative against them, but I just think they've missed it when it comes to the core of who they are and why they're here. And if you don't know who you are and why you're here, then you're going to constantly miss the mark. And anyone that tells you anything, you'll follow it because you don't know. You know, if I don't know directions where I'm going, if you tell me, okay, go to Kimball and take this freeway, take this freeway, take this freeway, and then I go down the street and somebody else said, no, that's not right. You should do this, you should do this, you should that. Then I go a few more feet down the street and somebody else says, well, no, that's the wrong way too. But if I took time out and I found the directions and I Googled the directions, or I called DART, or I did anything and said, okay, how do I get to Kimball High School? Then they'll tell me, you know, okay, this is how you get there. And I will know exactly how to get to the school no matter what somebody says. I'm so sorry. Something popped up on my film. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is so funny. I'm so sorry. I have a computer cleaner, and it'll pop up and say, do you want to continue cleaning this computer? And I'm like, I just told you yes, like so many hours ago. But anyway, sorry about that. If you see a little blank, that's because of my computer cleaner popped up. But anyway, you know, you have got to know where you're going. You got to have some idea. And you're not going to have an idea if you don't take time to find out what's right in your life, what way you need to go, why were you put here. And I don't like for that to be like a cliche, oh, why was I put here on earth? No, I mean, really, why do you wake up every morning? Why have you been given breath every morning to get up, to go to school, to go to work, to do this? It's something other than just that. Now, getting back to courtship, because I got off schedule. I'm going to get back to the courtship, and the reason why I thought it was a great thing, because it gave us as young women guidelines for ourselves. It made us look at the value within ourselves, because our parents would not just let us go out with anybody. You know, you had to meet a certain standard. You had to meet a certain requirement. Not that you had to be perfect, and not that we were perfect, but we were headed toward a certain level in life. And that's what our parents wanted us to go toward. That's what we were hopeful for. So, you know, we went through courtship, which was my boyfriend was allowed to come. Me and him could sit down and we could pick out 3 days during the week. And he was allowed to come over and visit me 3 days in the week. So we would pick out like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And if it wasn't those days, he couldn't come over. Period. He could not come over. And during that time, even, you know, there were home phones. All the phones were in the houses, plugged into the walls. So we didn't have anything near like a cell phone. So he could call, you know, like from 7 to 9 o'clock or 7 to 8:30. He could call and we could talk on the phone. But actually, my mom didn't even like girls to call guys. She did not like it. She thought that was the worst thing in the world for you to call a guy on the telephone. I'm like, man, it would be so different nowadays. But you know, that's how it was then. You know, they just had standards how they thought or they perceived that a young lady should behave. And it wasn't overbearing. It really wasn't overbearing. My friends thought it was overbearing because their rules were so loose. So they thought that I was just like sheltered or something. But I really wasn't. My mom gave me a lot of freedom. She just didn't give me the freedom to do the wrong thing. You know, I could get in events. I was in things at school, but I just couldn't get involved in things that she knew was going to lead me down the wrong path. And I'm thankful to her for that. And you should be thankful to your parents if they gave you some guidelines growing up. Now, I wanted to say, because in today's society, in today's culture, it's pretty much everything goes. It's like, you know, your beautiful body, your beautiful essence of who you are as a person, as a woman, is just exploited out there. It's like, it's nothing, you know. It's people, you know, young men feel like they should have a right to, you know, to have sex or to do things that are unseemly for unmarried couples to do. And that's not God's guidelines. Now, when you're talking about a courtship, usually, you know, the young man will come and ask for permission to come and see you. And then you guys decide what it is you want to do, of course, and then you can go out. And I also had to have a chaperone for so many, for that, I think that first year of us talking, my little brother had to come along with us. We went to a movie, he had to go. We went downtown, he had to go. I was like, you know, it's the typical thing. I really hated it. But, you know, we had quite a bit of fun. You know, so I know you think right now it could be hard. You feel like it's a hard thing, you know, your parents are giving you guidelines. But really, you know what they're doing? They're protecting you. Your mom is protecting you. Your dad is protecting you. You know what else they're doing? They're saying to you, you are so valuable to me that I want to make sure that you get every opportunity to reach the heights that you need to reach in this life without being tainted and tampered with and played with and handled. You know, a lot of young women allow themselves to just be handled by young men and by men, and not just young women, older women too. You know, they allow themselves to just be handled. And I don't mean you can't talk to a guy, you can't conversate with a guy, you can't conversate with a young man. You can have young men as friends if they're respectable and they can respect those guidelines, those boundaries. You can talk to men, you know, if they can respect boundaries. But there are some who can't, they haven't learned how to respect certain boundaries. And so they are used to handling women a certain way. Like they will talk bad to the woman. Now this woman's supposed to be a friend, and they'll call her names, you know, they'll manipulate her, you know, use her for her body or for money or for whatever. And that's something that you have to have boundaries for, because you have to protect what you've been given. What you've been given is so valuable according to the Word of God. It is just undescribable value. And you have to protect it, young lady and young man. I know we talk to the young ladies a lot, but young man, you need to protect yourself too. It is so important that you keep your purity and innocence. I know people around you, uncles, cousins, and everybody will ask you and make you feel like that you have to have sex by a certain age to be a man. You do not. You should not. It is so much better if you wait. If you can wait. And I know it sounds corny. I'm sorry, I'm going to get out of this position because I'm sorry. cramping up my legs. But I know it sounds corny, but I'm telling you, young man, let me tell you, it's going to save you a world of heartache. First of all, you won't have to worry about what young lady you just got pregnant. You won't have to worry about getting some awful, dreadful disease. There's plenty of them out there to go around. You won't have to come home saying, Mom and Dad, I have something to tell you. Well, if you do, you do, but if you can avoid going through this stress, why not avoid it? So it's a lot of things that you can wait, and you can tell your wife to be that you save yourself, and that is not girly, is not feminine, is not corny. That does not make you gay. It doesn't make you, because you're saying your body is worth keeping until your wedding day. Why not? Why not? You lose so much when you start sleeping around. And at early ages, you're sleeping around. That's too much. What's the purpose of that? What is the purpose of it? Young men, don't let people push you. Make up your own mind. Make your own decisions. You know what feels right within you. Stick to it. And tell those guys who are giving you a hard time and trying to push you on somebody and in a bad relationship, tell them, look, hold off on that. We can be friends, but you can't control my life. I don't control your life, so you can't control mine. Don't allow people to push you into things like that. Young ladies, when I was in high school, I told my boyfriend when we started dating, I told him, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. I don't have sex before marriage. At the time, I thought, kissing was okay. But I told him, I don't have sex before marriage. And, some guys that I liked before, I got with my boyfriend at the time, that I kind of liked, I stressed that, I was bold, and I was kind of a shy girl, but I was bold in that area because I knew that wasn't something I was going to do. And I knew that was what I was standing for in my life. I may not know everything, but I knew that was one thing that I wanted to stand for. And some guys, they said, bye-bye, I'm not for that. I'm like, okay, well, bye, And then, but he was cool with it, he was like, yeah, that's cool, I just want to talk to you, whatever. So we did. But actually, I made the commitment at 13. Just from reading this little book that somebody gave me about abstinence. And I got this little book, and it just was talking about how the Creator created our bodies for a certain purpose and for a certain thing. And how our bodies are holy. And our bodies are made, are made to be treated as best that we could treat it with each other. And that means not using our bodies as just flip it, okay, sleep with this guy, sleep with this girl, sleep with that guy, sleep with this girl, go out to dinner, sleep with somebody, go here, sleep with somebody, no, that's not how we're supposed to use our bodies. Your body is for the person who made a commitment to you, not just a commitment, because some people will say that commitment and they never go all the way. When they made that commitment, you got confirmation from God. They have confirmation. You made it to the altar. You're saying, I do. After that, I do. Hey, y'all are free to do. But before that, I do. No. No. Before that, I do is not an option. Getting back to it, I made that commitment at 13. I said that I wanted to keep my body pure, for my husband. I didn't want to have to tell him that I was, sleeping around and stuff. Now, if you've made a mistake and you've fallen and you've had those problems, and sometimes when you get started, it's hard to get it stopped. And that's one reason, I think that's another reason why the Lord doesn't want us to even get that started, because that's something that when you get started, your body craves that because you have a flesh, not a body. You have a body and you have a flesh that craves certain things, like it'll crave cookies, ice cream, all kind of stuff you don't need, stuff that's bad. It'll crave whatever you feed it. It's going to crave that. If you train your flesh to curse, it's going to crave to curse. If you train your flesh to steal, it's going to crave stealing. If you train your flesh for sex all the time, it's going to crave sex, because that's what's in this nature. So it's good. Some things is very good to stay away from. I was listening to a song today by George Michael, and I love the passion that he sings in that song I think it's called Teacher. But in this song, George Michael, he's singing and he's saying, "Teacher, there are some things that I don't want to learn." And just that little phrase always stuck with me, because there are some things that you don't need to learn. There are a lot of things that you don't need to learn, and some things you don't need to learn too early, because it'll take your innocence and it'll take your mind to a place that it doesn't need to be at that stage in your life. So I just want to push you guys to make a commitment to keep your body healthy in a sexual way by not participating in things like that before your time. You have plenty of time for that. Believe me, it's not going anywhere. And you have plenty of time, and don't let people push you, make you feel bad, make you feel ashamed, make you feel like being a virgin is something wrong with it. It's not anything wrong with it. It's beautiful. And a lot of people who could go back to being a virgin would go back if they could. Believe me, they would go back if they could. So don't buy into the hype of this culture. Don't buy into that at all. And be careful what you watch. If you are a young person and you're constantly watching sex scenes on TV and all these different programming, no matter what programming they are, if you're constantly watching movies with sex scenes in there, you need to pull back on that. You need to pull back on it and get rid of it completely. Watching those scenes, when you see it, fast forward. You can fast forward. If you've seen these movies a lot, you know what the scenes are. So fast forward those scenes and don't get that in your mind. Put some positive things in your mind. You have plenty of time for sex and stuff. And that stuff, like I said, is not going anywhere. You need to learn how to control it, because it's a fire. And it can get a lot of people have addictions to these things. Lots of people are addicted. And you don't want that to control you. You want to control it. Give your wife-to-be one day, young man, the best gift you can give her, which is you. You are the best gift you can give a wife-to-be. Saying, "You know what, honey, I have not slept with every woman that walked across my path. I haven't slept with every pretty face. I haven't slept with every beautiful body. I've resisted temptations." That is a gift. Boy, in this day and time, that is such a gift for a young man to give his wife-to-be. And you're looking for a young woman who can say the same thing. She can say to you, "Hon, guess what? I have fought, I have kept myself for you, for this wedding day, for this wedding night. I valued you so much. You were always in the back of my mind, in the forefront of my mind, that I want to, when I sit down with my husband-to-be, I can say, you know what? I kept myself for you. I didn't go out and offer my body as a sacrifice on somebody's altar of pleasure." I heard someone say in another video that don't offer your purity as a sacrifice on someone's altar. They don't deserve that. They do not deserve that kind of privilege. Someone who just looks at you and say, "Oh, I would like to," they don't deserve That's a privilege for a committed relationship only. That's not a privilege for every man who looks at you and said, "Oh, I think she looks nice. I would like to." And you're not a privilege for every woman who looks at you and said, "Well, why not? You're a man. I'm offering." Well, everything that's offered is not good. And you're giving more of yourself than you think. It's not just sex. It's not just sex. You're giving your emotions. You're giving your essence. You're giving your psyche. You're spiritually becoming one. The Bible says when you have sex with someone, you become one flesh with them. One flesh. That's in God's eye. Now, God said this. I did not say this. This is not Angie's word. You become one with that person. So if that person has some issues and all these things going on in their life, you're saying, I'm in unity with this person that I'm laying down with. I'm in unity with them. And then when you get up, you wonder why you're confused, you're an emotional wreck, you can't make a decision to save your life, you can't get clarity on anything, you always seem like you're running into a wall because you were not designed for that. I don't care what television says, I don't care what your friends say, family say, I don't care. All of that is a lie. If it's coming against what God's word has said about you, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderfully made. And you don't just take something wonderful and throw it out in the streets and throw it out to animals and let anything touch it and handle it and talk to it any kind of way and beat up on it and just use it and abuse it and throw it in the trash. And that's not how you treat something wonderful. So I would like to, push you guys today. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying in this video. I hope you get the essence of what I'm trying to say to you about your value, and it doesn't just sound cliche. I hope that the Holy Spirit really takes it and pushes it into your heart and shows you and will show you the love of Jesus and how Jesus really loves you with waves of love and kindness and goodness, and that he wants the best for your life. And sometimes we have to wait a little while. We have to, but it builds us up and it gives us strength. And in my next video, I'll probably talk about waiting and the patience that it takes and things you could do while you're waiting, and just not to give up while you're waiting and give in to other things and start trying to do these things on your own. You need to wait. Let that waiting make you strong and push you forward. And when you get the right person, the right time, it will be wonderful. You'll say, yes, I'm so glad that I waited and that I listened to my parents and I listened to the right people. And even if you don't have parents or you don't have anyone pushing you, you know within yourself you're valuable. And you can say, yes, you know what? I waited and I listened to my inward self telling me I'm better than that. I don't care how it feels. I don't care what it looks like. Let me tell you something. Young lady, there is no shortage in God. All this stuff they're talking about shortage, people have been saying that since I was a little girl. I've heard there's a shortage of this and there's a shortage of that, shortage of men, shortage of women. Let me tell you something. In my last few minutes, there is no shortage of what God has for you. There is no shortage in God. Young man, there is no shortage. Listen to people saying all that stuff, putting fear in your heart. If you can believe God for what you want and wait on him to produce it, bring it into your life, you'll find it. And pray and make sure that it's him. Make sure that it's him. Because a lot of people blame things on God. It's not God. We make those decisions, we make those choices, and we say, Lord, why did you do this to us? But you know what? We didn't even ask God if that was his will. When I was a young girl, growing up, dating and whatever, I didn't ask God if it was his will. I just thought, okay, just You just pick somebody. But you need to bring God. You need to have that inward. You need to know. And if you don't have that inward witness that this is right, don't move. Don't do it. Do not marry. Don't date that person. Don't. If you feel like, no, it's something just wrong about this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm tired of being by myself. All my friends have boyfriends. All my friends have girlfriends, so I'm just going to grab somebody. Don't do it. Stay by yourself and be happy, and you can still enjoy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go from this video. It's kind of getting long. I don't want to make it too long. Hey guys, I want the best for you. I'm praying for you. I'm trying to do better with the videos, so I hope this one looks better. The lighting seems a little better. And I will see you in the next video. Hey, stay safe. And there are people here in this world that love you and care about you. Okay, bye.